Imagine a city so desperate for money that it sells itself to tourists, only to discover 15 years later that it can't buy itself back. Amsterdam went from nearly bankrupt in 2010 to drowning in 24 million visitors a year. The canals are clogged with drunk tourists, local bakeries have been replaced by Nutella shops, and residents can't afford to live in their own neighborhoods anymore. But here's the twist. The city government created this disaster on purpose, and now they're protecting the hotel monopoly that's getting rich from it. This is the story of how Amsterdam accidentally destroyed itself and why the solution is simpler than anyone wants to admit. If you're interested in how cities make catastrophic policy mistakes and then struggle to fix them, hit that subscribe button because we're breaking down the urban planning disasters that changed entire cities forever. 2010. Amsterdam's economy is in crisis. The municipality is nearly bankrupt. Construction projects are frozen. There's no money. Buildings in the city center are standing empty. Tourism, one of the few sectors that hasn't collapsed, seems like a salvation. Hotels become the perfect use for all that vacant prime real estate. Amsterdam is internationally renowned with famous museums, beautiful canals, and a liberal image that attracts visitors who like to experience more than just culture. Tourism seems ideal. It's an export product with free shipping. The party for Labour aldermen travels the world with the mayor marketing Amsterdam as a top tourist destination. A special civil servant is appointed to find locations where hotel chains can be built. The municipality controls the permits. They decide which parcels can be used as hotels. The moment this permit is granted, the value of that land skyrockets. Historic buildings in the city center are sold off. From 2010 through 2016, the number of hotel rooms rises from just over 21,000 to more than 30,000, an increase of almost a third in just 6 years. The number of visitors rises steadily alongside it. In 2012, there are 10 million overnight stays in Amsterdam. 4 years later, that number hits 13 million. This growth isn't just Europe's economic recovery. While tourism booms across much of Europe, Amsterdam leads the pack. Selling the city to the world works better than anyone predicted. Gradually, it begins to dawn on the city council that they might have opened the doors too wide. Tourists can help pay for roads, social services, and create jobs. But there are trade-offs. Not all economic activities are equal. An urban location is fixed in supply. In a state of scarcity, you have to make choices. In Amsterdam in 2010, every form of economic activity has great value because the entire economy is struggling. But by 2025, the Dutch economy is growing with Amsterdam leading the way. There's now a shortage of space in the city instead of a surplus. Every building used by a waffle joint, weed dispensary, hotel, or ticket shop can't be used by a local entrepreneur or resident. In Barcelona, perhaps the only city in Europe with more tourists than Amsterdam, researchers study the economic consequences of mass tourism. They find that more tourism causes more people to work in the tourism sector, but it doesn't lead to less unemployment. Workers are pulled away from other sectors because the labor market is fairly fixed. The increase in employment in tourism is compensated by fallen employment in construction and manufacturing. Tourism crowds out other more productive sectors, a form of economic disease. Then there are the externalities. Tourists take up space not just in hotels, but on sidewalks, in trams, on bike paths. This slows travel time and requires more money for maintenance. They generate waste. The waffle wrappers, beer bottles left on canal bridges at 2 in the morning, overflowing bins. Selling overpriced waffles to tourists becomes better business than running a bakery. So amenities that locals use disappear. The data shows this. Bars, shops, and nurseries are pushed out of the city center by ticket shops and tourist traps. Normally, these externalities would get priced in. Amsterdam residents pay to use city services through income tax, property taxes, trash taxes to cover the cost of roads, sanitation, and emergency services. Tourists, on the other hand, pay barely anything. In 2017, attempting to reverse a trend they set into motion years earlier, the city council takes its first serious measure against over-tourism. They pass a hotel stop, a ban on new hotel permits. This means no more hotels can be created, and the hotels that exist are granted an artificial monopoly. The number of hotel rooms in the city stands at more than 40,000. That growth in hotels should have ended, but the policy is full of holes. There are permits already granted, buildings already under construction, new zoning plans that still have room for new hotels which the municipality can't prevent. It isn't until 2021 that the hotel stop is made airtight. By then, the number of hotel rooms has risen from 30,000 to more than 40,000. But between 2017 and the start of the coronavirus crisis, the number of visitors continues to rise. In 2019, Amsterdam reaches 18.3 million overnight stays. In March 2020, everything changes. COVID empties the city overnight. Without tourists, Amsterdam's center suddenly becomes livable again. Residents start a petition called Amsterdam Has a Choice, asking the municipality to limit the number of visitors to 20 million per year. It's signed 30,000 times within a week. In June 2021, the city council takes the petition to heart. A maximum of 20 million visitors per year is decided upon. From 18 million, the municipality commits to intervention. Finally, change seems to be on the way. Unfortunately, the growth of tourism continues unabated. In 2023, there are 22.2 million overnight stays. In 2024, there are 22.9 million. But for the first time, the supply of hotel rooms no longer rises with demand due to the hotel stop. Despite the city committing to limiting tourists, the number continues to increase. The number of rooms in Amsterdam barely budges in coming years, but the number of tourists per year could still head toward 30 million by the end of this decade. The municipality keeps giving hotel owners free benefits. The partial Airbnb ban does little to decrease tourism. It forces visitors to spend even more on hotel rooms instead. Because of the mismatch between supply, which remains constant, and demand, which keeps growing, hotel profits rise explosively. The hotel stop doesn't reduce tourism. It makes the hotels richer. With the hotel stop not curbing demand and actually making hotels more profitable, the city government has to look for other measures. Currently, the total tax on hotel rooms is 33.5%. 21% is VAT, which goes to the national government, not the municipality. The remaining 12.5% is tourist tax, which goes to the municipal treasury, but there's an argument it should be much higher. A higher tourist tax can have two effects. Either the number of tourists drops because hotel rooms become too expensive, or the municipality raises money to actually cover the negative externalities. A tax isn't administratively complex. Hotels can't avoid it because they're fixed on land, and it allows the municipality to avoid cruder policies like access gates or activist protests. Unfortunately, raising the tourist tax seems politically controversial. The hotel industry actively lobbies against it. In 2024, the trade association announces they'll litigate against the tax increase. Hotels that benefited from the artificial scarcity of the hotel stop are now fighting to keep their windfall profits untaxed. A textbook example of regulatory capture, crony capitalism. At the same time, the alderman responsible for tourism in Amsterdam isn't exactly bursting with ambition. He puts up signs in the red light district asking tourists to please not urinate on houses. He runs ads in England begging stag parties to stay away. If the city's own research says tripling the tax is required, that means a rate closer to 37%. At that level, a €200 hotel room would carry €74 in tourist tax alone. Expensive, but that's not the point. A tax of just 32% would bring the number of visitors down to less than 20 million. The city admits this in its own research. It would also bring in €356 million of tax revenue that could be used to fast-track construction, permitting, or fund trash cleanup. Early last year, the initiators of the petition announced a lawsuit to force the municipality to keep its promise. A maximum of 20 million tourists per year, and if there are more, serious measures must be taken. A higher tourist tax. The city council made a firm promise in 2021 that they've been breaking for years now. It's quite possible that thanks to the courts, something will finally change. Amsterdam's story is a perfect case study in how cities can create their own disasters through short-sighted policy. They were desperate for revenue in 2010, so they sold hotel permits like they were going out of style. Then, when tourism exploded, they implemented a hotel stop that didn't reduce tourists, it just made existing hotels richer by creating an artificial monopoly. Now, they refuse to raise tourist taxes high enough to actually solve the problem because the hotel lobby fights back. The solution is sitting right there. Raise the tourist tax to 32% or higher. Use that revenue to fund city services and make life better for residents. Let demand naturally fall as prices rise. But instead, the city protects hotel profits while residents watch their neighborhoods transform into theme parks. The irony is brutal. Amsterdam saved itself from bankruptcy by selling out to tourism, and now it can't afford to buy itself back. Now, here's a question for you. If you were running Amsterdam today, which policy would you implement first to fix the tourism crisis? Option A, triple the tourist tax immediately to 37% and use the revenue to fund affordable housing and city services for residents. Option B, implement a strict visitor quota system with advanced booking requirements like Venice to physically cap the number of tourists. Option C, convert a percentage of hotel rooms back to residential housing through mandatory zoning changes and end the hotel monopoly. Drop your answer in the comments because I'm genuinely curious which approach you think would be most effective at reclaiming the city for the people who actually live there.